What's going on, guys? It's Black Jesus here. This is the second episode for our VDM podcast, our Defend Middle Lane podcast. Uh, I see that it has been gaining a little bit more traction, and I just wanted to, before the start of the podcast, let anyone know this was supposed to be something where we would pull people on and ask about different opinions from the community and talk about the game. So if you're interested in talking amongst us, you have some ideas, you have some thoughts you want to get out of the game, please just message me on Twitter, or you can DM me on Twitter. You can DM me on YouTube, Twitch, wherever you're comfortable at. Just give me your Discord name, and we can talk from there. We can go from there. It's open to anyone. Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to make it a community thing. Thank you guys for watching, and please enjoy. It's your boy. It's your bezel, Black Jesus, here in full effect. We're here for another episode of VDM Defend Middle Lane podcast with my wonderful co-host, Crafty ZP.
I already know what the fuck going on. Let me stop. What's up with y'all?
X Focus, X Kasafu, Toshiro Hitsugaya, PXD Havoc, UCG Sub Zero.
Bro, what is you doing?
Stay rational.
Stay rational. All right.
Yo, my man got the alien.
Out of pocket.
Before we start, because we already know, like, we were gonna talk about the God classes, talk about season 7. Before we start, how y'all doing today? How y'all? What's the energy y'all bringing to this stream right now? What's going on? I'm trying
You
to.
asking us or them?
Well, I'm asking y'all right now, but because
Man, I'm chilling. Just got some Popeye,
You know what I'm saying? I know we were playing Smite for most of the day, so we were a little like burnt out right now, but we came back for the pod for our fans. You know what I'm saying? I see all two
Quote,
of
unquote.
you.
1.5 fans like shit.
So I wanted to first start off running back some of the things that I said last stream. I didn't want to commit myself to saying anything for sure, but there were some things that I did say that either weren't true or not correct, or I didn't know about at the time, and I was just kind of like, it's just, one of the things I was talking about, or that we mentioned, and we'll talk about this later, especially the subreddit in season 7, was about the subreddit and competitive, because I did not know about the Smite Pro subreddit. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, so I didn't know that there was like a dedicated like competitive, something for Smite. Like, so when we were talking about the lack of competitive content, competitive content on Smite, R Smite, I didn't realize that there was a R Smite Pro. So nobody really killed me for that. I killed myself for it, but like, yeah, that was something.
Good job.
Good job, Larry.
Yeah, damage control.
I mean, I think that might have been it. It's been a while. It's been like 2 weeks. We're supposed to do it like weekly, but some shit came up. But yeah, I think that was it. I don't think there's anything else that I said that was that egregiously egregious. But like, fucking I just wanted to. I don't want people looking back and like, oh, he does not know what he's talking about. All right, guys, season 7's here. How are we feeling? Do you love it? Do you hate it? What would you rate it? Shout out to Anthony Fantano. I'm gonna start with Marcus first, because I think I started with McCall last time. How are you feeling over there in, like, solo lane, ADC? How you feeling?
I've been playing a lot of different things. I can't really give a take right now. I haven't really been focused on Smite as much as I should have been. But it's a lot more fun. Most of the stuff I've talked about in the previous episode, are still there. But I'm having a lot more fun with the game now than I was when I quit it, like around season 4, season 5. I think that's mainly because of like the gods that are coming out now. They're a lot more fun to me. Like Horus, Pele,
Persephone.
Persephone.
Yeah, Persephone. I know
Yeah,
is one you've been playing a lot recently.
yeah. When I
Um,
quit, the gods were kind of like the ones they were releasing were pretty stale for me.
I was
Like
gonna
I don't
say I think we stopped either around King Arthur or Merlin or right before.
right before King Arthur and Merlin.
Yeah.
I wasn't really hyped for neither of them, so I just like, there's nothing really keeping me playing this game, and I'm already feeling the burnout.
Mm. So from our last podcast, have you been getting back into the SPL? Have you been looking back into that, or like, you know?
Um, I've been I've been keeping an eye on like I know Harris is doing this thing on their channel where they're like taking a spotlight at the teams coming into the year. I actually really like that. I've been watching like all of them on release, and I'm like, yeah, this is content I like to see, like surrounding the pro scene. Like I want to see some takes. I want to see how these rosters are shaping up because like I've been following this competitive scene for a very long time. So watching these players, come into their own and still around the scene. Most of the old heads are gone though, but these new players are like really good.
Yeah, most of them I want to say are probably in the same situation of you. It's definitely the new generation where they grew up maybe playing Smite, watching Smite competitive, and now they're actively participating. So it's always wonderful to see these type of developments happening. Definitely a nice change of pace, I would say.
Yeah.
Uh, anything you are not liking about season 7? Any grievances, anything that you're not really like, not in, maybe you don't even dislike it all that much, but you're like, it'd be better if this was, different. Anything like that?
Nah, I hate that fucking back camp with the gold that you
Oh, the
gotta hit
shrine.
3 times. I hate that shit
Really?
so
I don't hate
fucking much.
that.
It's so lame. I mean, it could be good for the game, there's some tactical advantage to it, but I hate it so much. It's not interesting. It's not. It just doesn't need to be here. They need to add something to the jungle interesting. The jungle still feels barren.
Feel you.
Not a jungle, more like a sandbox, just
Yeah,
all
it's more
right.
like the fucking playground between the two schools. I don't know.
And any opinion on any of the new items? Any any new item that you're like, God, this is like really good. God, this is really stupid. Anything, or you just haven't been really too invested in builds?
I've been building boomer items, but Charon's coin
Hey, shouts
so
out to
makes
Yeah,
sense.
Coin.
I was gonna. That's why I brought this up so I can ask McCall because I know he's been having a lot of fun with that item.
That item
Good
is
item. Very good item.
so fun to use too.
All right. Anything else you want to say about it, or hello?
Hmm? Nah, not really.
I'm
It's
about to
just
say
really
hello.
cool. I
That
don't
was
know.
he's like, thank you. He
Bye.
was like, all
I'm
right.
out of here
So,
now.
all right. So, McCall, you've been playing a lot of mid recently. A lot of mid, a lot of ADC.
Recently.
Specific. Well, I
That's
mean,
all I do. Like,
well, yeah, I mean, well, we've been playing a lot more, is what I mean.
put me in that lane.
Um, yeah. So, how are you feeling about season 7 thus far?
From a mid player's perspective, I'm enjoying it. I wouldn't say there's anything that's like a glaring issue to me. I don't even mind like the new mid camp split. I just feel like it keeps you actively looking and keeping timers on your map.
Mm-hmm.
And even with them like minimizing like the risk factor of having it stolen and shit, stuff like that. Like the reduced amount of gold that you get if you steal it. I feel like it's still a viable strategy to get in there and steal camps. But even so, it's like it's really a game that's all about that last play. Like whatever that last play is that wins the game is can come from any side. So it's like it's cool because it encourages farming and encourages you to play a a fucking god that can actually clear and be a little bit more mobile. So it's like a fast paced, like Farmville esque feel, which is like okay because it just gets like certain items online, like coin for example.
Mm-hmm.
Like a Chronos pendant in the coin or Chronos pendant in the boots coin is just a lot more feasible with all that extra gold being on the map.
Yeah. Uh, and so, how are you feeling about ADC with the new buff and you know all that XP over there now, the new camps? I know you've been a lot of Izanami as usual. How you feeling about that?
It's cool. Yeah, it's whatever. Honestly, like the shit's only good if you have a support that has like a brain, but it AD carry is like pretty much the same, just some added shit. Like that buff, that new attack speed or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly can't say that I ever even feel the difference when I'm using that buff. So it's like,
Hmm.
whatever. To me, it's almost like this could be a little bit stronger because I
You
don't
you
really
a straight
see.
to lane guy, or you a buff guy first? Which one? Which one?
It depends. It
Buff,
depends on what they're
please.
running in their duo. It
Yeah,
depends
it
on
does
what
depend though.
support
Yeah, yeah,
does.
yeah.
Like all day to day, every time I played AD carry today, like my fucking support would run straight into the lane and not start buff, so it would force me to start lane and then buff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really like a reactionary thing. I don't think there's any set way to do it. Especially playing a lot of these Anami, you can get a lot of that really great early game aggression and poking.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's cool. It could go either way. I would even like start attempting to steal their shit because everybody else seems to start purple immediately,
Yeah.
and it's pretty obvious that you can just walk in and take that shit and walk away. If you're good enough.
Give me that shit, bitch.
Oh, and that's also another thing I have to walk back because I forgot it. I forgot. So apparently, you do not get reduced XP and gold for taking the enemies. That's only in Joust. When I was looking at that
Oh, what the
Reddit
fuck?
post, yeah, when I was
What?
looking at that Reddit post, it said Joust only. I thought it was like conquest included, but no, it's just Joust. Apparently, you get full XP and gold. So
Damn, we've been fucking running
yeah,
amok with this shit.
yeah,
Ain't
Mm.
nobody check us.
yeah. Animals.
Boosted gear.
So how do you feel about Charon's coin? Or is there any other new item? How do you feel specifically? I want to ask you about Charon's coin because I know you've been championing that item since the beginning of the season. How do you? And this is for both you and Marcus. How do you feel about the Shaman's ring replacement, the Ring of Hecate? You think that was a good enough replacement? You think it's kind of lackluster? You think it does? How do y'all feel about that? Is there any other items, any other new items that you've had your eye on that you've been using recently, or you know?
Personally, I haven't seen anyone use that new ring. I don't know if that's just because I haven't seen like a lot of auto attack heavy mages in my games recently, but it's like kind of one of those ghost items that maybe you'll see it one day, but like as shit currently stands, like no one's building it
Hmm.
from my perspective. That's just like my own personal. What was your other question? It was about coin. I
Yeah,
think
about
coin's
coin.
amazing. I mean, I'm like a little bit of a gambler, so I like to kind of I like that interactivity of like contributing to a kill or getting a kill and then seeing like, oh, what am I gonna get? Heads or tails? Oh, yeah, that shit's cool. And I feel like you can stack it fairly quickly come mid game.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
always pretty worth it.
The only problem I have with coin, and I brought this up earlier, is that there's no proper icon for heads or tails. So I don't know which one I'm getting. I have
You
to
know, you
scroll
gotta
over. Yeah.
like scroll over that shit constantly. That's a
Um,
Mm.
small quality of life
Yeah,
change.
I mean that's the only
Definitely.
thing. I mean I haven't been playing a lot of mid recently. I guess now I can
I
transition into
wonder
like
why. Like,
yeah, I guess we can transition to solo and jungle for me because those are two roles I've been playing recently. As far as the jungle goes, I've been trying to experiment. I mean, jungle feels like honestly this season doesn't feel like much has changed. There hasn't been any really big changes. As far as like general
you
impressions,
know,
it's probably gonna be like how like other than some small items, god changes. There's not a lot of like anything really big to speak on. I've tried to implement Hand of the Gods, and I just don't see that item being very worth much. It's just like we tried, we tried some new strats. We messed around with some clear paths and whatnot, but it just doesn't seem like that item is just like worth it. I mean, unless you have the extra gold and you just don't need it. Like if you go an AP jungler, because I don't think any item would be as expensive to build and then put as it would be for like a physical jungler, because I think everyone goes into like the mace start. Um, Thor's
I heard
pretty
the start
strong
wasn't
right
good.
now. Yeah, Thor's pretty strong. I want to say right now. Daji's pretty strong. Daji is like, I want to say, as far as just how she plays, probably she feels like the new Loki. And people are probably gonna. All right,
Whoa,
listen. Don't
that's a
kill me.
bold statement.
Don't kill me. Don't kill me for this. Listen,
You telling
listen,
me I'm gonna kill you?
You're
don't
dead already.
don't kill me. All right. It honestly feels like just the way she plays is just so streamlined and just so like she's not very good from behind. Her ult pretty much does the inverse, I would say, of Loki's. Um, I mean, giving her a little I mean, it's kind of like that would be your like you would if you were behind as Loki, you would use your ult as Loki as the same thing as you would use it for Daji if you're behind.
So you
I
mean
just
just like for setup or?
yeah, that's it. It's just kind of like I feel like they're kind of play paths the same. You blink on someone, you pop your one, and then W. I mean, fuck. I'm still playing League. You pop your one.
What the
You
fuck is
pop your
that?
one, and then if you auto attack, and then your two, and then they're pretty much dead. It's kind of like same thing with Loki. Pop your one, you pop your three. It's kind of like you don't really need to use your three other than for like chase down. And I'm not saying like these champions play alike or that they're very similar, but I'm saying as far as how you approach them as a god in a game, it's very linear. It's very one-dimensional.
I feel you.
But
That
Daji is
that's
definitely stronger than Loki, I would say, just because she has a lot. She's a
Daji's
lot more
just the better
utility.
god.
Yeah,
That's
Loki's
a fact.
not even good.
So
But the thing, I've never liked Daji. Like, just I hate her. I just don't like anything about her kid.
I feel like the people who play Loki would probably like Daji a lot, because I liked playing Loki back when I was
Right.
playing on Xbox, and then like
Yeah,
now
dude,
I
you
like
said that.
playing Daji, a lot, because she's just a fun. I would say she's a pretty fun god, but it's fun because it's linear. Like I don't have to use too much brain power. I can. What do? I blink, I one, I two, and then they're dead. If I get in trouble, I pop my ult. If I need to get away, or if I need to jump on someone, I pop my three. It's kind of like there's not much you can do there. There's not much. There's not much depth to the character. And people are gonna kill me for it. But that's just how I like personally feel about like
That
Daji right
creates
now.
good discourse.
Yeah,
Good discourse.
who else is pretty good in the jungle right now? I've been playing a lot of Set. I think I've been one tricking Set every other game. Set or Thor I've been playing a lot of.
Mm.
Thanatos I feel like has always been solid. He's not going anywhere. Odin is fucking great.
Yo.
Jungle, support, solo. I mean, we said this before season 7, and now actually having the god in our hands, he's. I mean,
Odin's, man.
yeah, like, and
Sheesh.
now we can talk about solo, and we can talk a little more about Odin. Now I know we played a game earlier. You played a little Odin, and unlike what the new Odin, I'm maxing 3 every game. That's just me. I'm maxing 3, 2, 1.
Choked on that one.
Unless I need like my jump for anything, I feel like that is how they want the god to be played now. 3, 2, 1. Marcus here, on the other hand, he's
I won't call
still
him out like that.
maxing his 2.
The shield, right? The shield, right?
It's amazing.
All right.
It's amazing because
Oh,
like he has options now. You can max 2, but then you're still relevant in the lane because of your 3. Like if I max 2 and then 3 the wave, it's full cleared. And you can listen. You
Your
can
three
bird
Wow.
bomb
is
with no
already
repercussion. I can
too
look
like your
bird
three is already strong. Like what do you like?
400 HP at max rank shield.
I mean, you can max it second.
It's
No
really
one's.
good for trading. It
So
nukes
is
the
your
waves.
three.
You can nuke the waves with your 2-1
All
and
right.
then use the 3 to trade.
You got a point.
I mean,
Like I literally
your three does tick damage. It like I need to look up.
It does do tick damage. You're correct.
Like it
yeah,
does.
that's like boom, boom, boom. Like
The
It,
three,
it it's a
get
slow.
your
It
stun off.
stuns. It tracks. Um, I gotta look up like
I think it also depends
what
on
the
play
damage.
style and
yeah.
also your
I mean,
matchup because
like
you might
I've
want
only
that shield.
that was my first time playing New Odin.
Yeah,
So
I
like
mean,
maybe
like,
I can try the 3 max second time around.
you get attack speed after
Shit,
using
get on
it.
right
You
now.
get attack speed to oh that's only after you get your first rune. Who out here listening to fucking
My bad, that came. I wasn't trying to play it. I was trying to put it in my library.
you got how many like three pulses, so that's 60 damage. You got 60 at level 1. Like this is just a good fucking
Atrocious.
yeah, it's just a good fucking ability. Oh no, the first rune. Okay, so you charge it up the first time and then it hones yeah. So you get attack speed to allies, which include minions.
It's crazy. I did that in lane. I was like, wait, I get attack speed and the minions. He can't trade.
You can't.
He cannot trade. And that's up against Osiris. If you told me any season before this one that Odin was beating Osiris in lane, I would have threw you off a building.
We all would have. Like, huh? Where?
And I'm just like, I'm smacking this guy around, out trading. I'm like, bro, what's going on? It's nutty.
And then I mean Odin's definitely in the top 5 for solo gods right now. But also in top 5 is a god I don't think any of us has much love for, and that's the Worm. I think.
Oh, Jormungandr? I
think,
love Jormungandr.
No, I don't. All right. I think
fucking-
every single time I fought against this god has just been the most like nail
It's
pulling,
not fun.
hair. Like it's just been the worst experience. He doesn't get knocked up. He literally shuts down fundamental parts of if not the person who's playing in solo lane. He shuts down parts of your jungler. You know, so it's like he's hard to he's hard to gank because he doesn't get knocked up.
Terra don't get knocked up either. What you trying to say?
Terra doesn't.
Oh, Terra? Oh,
yeah,
you said,
I
Terra
was
doesn't
gonna say
put
Terra,
out-
not Terra. Who?
Who?
Exactly.
Who? Signa.
Nah, like Snoop Dogg.
Cause
But I mean that's just one of the more annoying things. The fact that he has just so much AoE, he has such great clear. He can poke you and clear the minions and not lose anything. Like not have to prioritize one over the other. You know, I wouldn't even know where to start. I don't think his 2 should do damage to the wave. His tremble.
whoa, what
I
you
don't
mean? That's a
think
whole
his-
AoE.
But he
If
all
you
of
do
his
that, then you're
abilities are
taking away
AoE.
his clear.
All of his
Because all his shitty ass level 1 doesn't do anything.
okay, but his
So what are you trying to do?
I mean,
You don't want
first
him
of
to be
all,
a character
he's
anymore?
a support. So if we're
Okay,
going by
and
so
you
if we're
act
going
like
by that
fucking
logic, he
Zalia
don't need,
wasn't playing
he don't need
solo
Claire.
in like
He
season
doesn't
2.
need. Oh, I mean, you can play supports solo. I'm not saying you can't, but his main priority, his main role is as a support. He doesn't need clear. It's not going to affect him as far as his, and we'll get into god classes later, but it's not going to affect him as far as his god classes go if you take the clear off of his W. Like keep he has great clear with his auto attacks, which is also an AoE. he has great clear with his one
That
already,
does like 5 damage per tick level
his
1.
E also procs in 2 more puddles, 2 more of his ones. Like, come on, you can't tell me that he does not need all of that clear. He can shove me in and take everything on that side of the map. And I don't even know who counters him. Who's a good Yorn counter?
I have no idea. I don't like him. I don't even follow him. I don't know what he can do.
I feel like he's more so countered by a strong team comp that has like good lockdown potential. Like if you force his ult early, then it's kind of like what else is he gonna do? Fucking lurk around and look for the knockup, and then what? Now you don't have an escape. So it's like it really trades itself out. I just think y'all are looking at this from like the laning perspective, and
Yeah, of course. Like you can ignore him in a team fight.
Yeah, no. As far as like,
so what does he really do? Just
he
don't get shit
definitely
on in
gets
laning phase. Fucking hold
kited and
on.
caught it. That's not even. That's all right, but if you're just so, I mean, he's still a threat. He's still a threat in a team fight. Like we're talking about, you know, if he's even or behind, yeah, what is he gonna do? He get kited out, blah blah blah. But if he's ahead, he's very oppressive to fight against, even in a team fight, because he has so much AOE. He literally walks in, doesn't take much damage because he's ahead. He has all the items he needs, and then can do what he need. He can be as disruptive as he can and nigh unkillable. Maybe I'm being a little like I mean, I'm obviously being a little facetious, but like that's his general game plan. That's generally how it's gonna like play out if you're like, and most times as Yorn, unless you're terrible, you're gonna be ahead. Like, I
Quote
mean,
unquote.
I mean, like, it's like,
All I'm saying is Zalia played Sobek solo, and this wasn't no issue.
I mean, yeah.
So why
Sobek
can't
solo's pretty
Yorn?
impressive too,
I mean,
to
it
be
feels
honest.
like at least Sobek has some counterplay to it.
Oh, because he can get knocked up.
Yes.
I
Okay,
mean, he can also toss you around the lane.
I was gonna say, knock you the fuck out if you really want to.
I mean, I think Sobek just works in solo lane like most other warriors do, because he has an anti healing ability, which gives him a way to kind of like box the other warrior gods who have either healing or anti healing in their kit.
Does your monger have that? Oh,
Uh, does he? Let's look.
Does he have any healing in this kid? I don't even know.
I don't believe so.
Um, I don't think so, actually. No.
Well, you probably just poke
Mhm.
him out,
I
but
mean,
I
you
think
can definitely poke him out, but
things like that are like easier said than done. Especially like if more so when you're playing ranked, it's like a lot easier to handle that if you can counterpick it. So
I mean, that's just like, that was just one thing. Like, that was just like, most of it's probably frustration. I think if I had more time with the god, I probably wouldn't. But like, as far as just like the games I have played against him, it's just been just terrible. Like, I don't want like the laning. Oh my god, the laning's just so it's so bad. I just
just let him do what he do and clear the wave, safe clear,
it
and
feels like he just
look at
doesn't
him.
lose anything. It just like, I just want, like, I feel like with most gods, with most MOBAs, it feels like if you do something, you have to sacrifice something else. Like, if you commit to this, if you commit to clearing the wave, you shouldn't have abilities to fight me. That doesn't matter. There's AoE puddles all over the damn lane.
Yeah,
So
that's
like,
annoying.
yeah,
And
But
it slows you too.
it's
that's assuming
slow.
that people are using the 3 correctly, like his little escape, because
I
it
feel like
creates
if you're playing
puddles. I feel
Yorm
like a lot of people didn't do that.
solo, you're probably like, I feel like Yorm's one of those gods where if you're playing them, you know how to play him at least well enough. You know how to position. I mean, I could be wrong. People are bad. So like, but I feel
As
like
Oh
Yorm.
evident
yeah,
by
yeah.
today.
Yeah,
We saw
yeah,
that shit today.
yeah. So like, but oh man,
Filthy casuals.
goddamn casuals. I mean, but yeah, that's all I kind of That's all I really feel about like in solo lane, I would say. As far as like general season art, not much has changed. I still wish they would have a new objective, some new win conditions. Um,
Yeah, nothing we haven't talked about.
yeah, it's just kind of a lot of streamers were just calling it like season 6.5, like season 6 part 2 or what, a lot of shit. So it's like it's kind of like what's been said has already been said. What what did Taco say about it? I remember Taco saying something about it. Marcus, you remember?
Nah, I don't really follow her.
I know Taco was talking about the same thing, like, this, I'm probably gonna have to look up the tweet, but probably the same vein. Um, and so the next topic I want to talk about with you guys was last time we did this podcast, we talked about our grievances with the subreddit. I didn't think at the time we were unique in those criticisms.
What did he say? Marcus, you heard that?
I didn't think
At the time, we weren't unique. I
with
think.
our criticisms, yeah. You know, but I was taken aback hopping on Twitter and seeing adapting echo what we were saying. I'm not saying like, oh, he saw what he's saying and then he's echoing it, but I was kind of surprised that there are, you know, I can understand people at the bottom feeling it, but like pros or whatever, I honestly didn't think they would like look into it as much, or you know, like
Yeah.
your personalities. You already have your own communities. You don't really need to look at Reddit as a source of anything for the game to offer because you already have it in your community, pretty much. Um, but when you sent me this, or when I saw it on Smite when they were having that whole thing um about what he said, I was kind of shocked. And then I was kind of shocked to see the replies cuz it was almost like civil war. Uh Before I go into the deep dive, I know Marcus looked into it some, or like how are y'all, like how do you feel about it now coming out, like what we were talking about last time? And because there's more
Um,
to it on the Reddit. There's more to it on his Twitter. So we'll get into that. But I just want to hear y'all feelings on it.
as far as like the subreddit going to shit.
Yeah, and just just the whole adapting situation in general.
Um, yeah, I mean, he's right in a sense. Like, oh, the Smite subreddit's not really it. It doesn't really have any content related to the competitive side or any just high level, build suggestions and stuff like
Or
that,
strats or any
or
fucking
strats or like anything like that.
nothing
But
of
like,
use.
it's not a new thing. It's just gotten worse
Because
as
it's
the game.
persisted.
Yeah, because it never got solved.
No one ever said anything about it. A fucking community.
Now
It's like,
I know one of the guys who, I forgot his name. I know one of the guys who previously was a mod for the subreddit actually made a post talking about how they should cycle through some of the mods because the person who's in charge now, despite adding more people to moderate the subreddit, it has not been successful. So like maybe that's where it, like, because he was saying it wasn't always terrible, you know.
yeah, it wasn't.
So
It
well,
was. It wasn't terrible, but it still wasn't like, oh, this is where you would go
For
if you
all the
needed
information.
for all the information. If you wanted to see memes, if you wanted to see build suggestions, if you wanted to see, oh, I missed that pro game, what happened, stuff like that.
mm.
That was still like on the low content side of it.
And then some of those replies were just crazy to see. Oh my! I think he has the tweets. I'm gonna pull it up for you guys
Said
right now.
the average Joe who works a 9 to 5 isn't. Like, what does that mean, bro? Like, this game is
Why
meant
the
to be
fuck would
competitive.
Tim, who plays for an hour after work, so often follow the pro scene? And when you hear shit
Why
like
not?
that,
Like, why would he watch football? What? Like, I
yeah,
don't
I'm like,
understand what the argument is.
like,
What do you mean? Why?
It's just that it's too casual.
He likes the
Most of
fucking
the player
game.
base is too casual, so they don't see it as anything more than, oh, let me hop in a pre-made of 5 and play some arena and dick around all night. They don't see it as more than that.
and then one thing that was said, right, as far as, people were like, oh, well, just be the change you want to be, and that's what we plan to do with this subreddit. But what adapting said in response to that is, I don't want to be that guy. I
Yeah,
shouldn't have to
no,
be that guy. Like, I just want to go on, lurk a little bit, enjoy the content, occasionally comment on stuff. I shouldn't have to be the guy that has to tell y'all, hey, we need better content.
It should be up to the content creators.
yeah,
Instead, we're just
or
sitting
like the
here
moderation team to make a push,
for
because
better
like the way it is now, it's just skin ideas and clips. Is that really what you
clips,
want the
mainly
subreddit to
from fucking console. I'm
Yeah,
like,
Yeah.
console clips
first of all,
of plays.
fuck
Like, I've been
ideas.
playing this game for almost 6 years. Like, these are plays I've seen. Like,
Exactly.
I've seen you hit a 5-man crack in an arena. Like, I've hit a 5-man crack in an arena.
And got a
Why is this on the
pentakill off.
front page?
Ooh, so aggressive.
Why does this shit get upvoted?
Like, this is
And then you see little Timmy like, oh, I'm just now starting to play this god. I need some build suggestions. And one upvote, no comments. I'm like,
I'm like, is y'all not gonna help?
come on,
What's
man.
the point of having a community and no one wants to talk about anything? That's like
People
even
will say that, and
slightly
then they'll be
progressive.
like, oh, like you said, Tim with the 9 to 5. Like, but you're doing nothing.
it's
No one's
it's
saying like be hardball serious.
it's honestly, it's just so ass backwards when you have these people who are like, man, this game's dead, blah blah blah, why isn't it dying? I mean, why is it dying? Why are less people playing, blah blah blah, whatever whatever. And then the pro scene, which is literally for every game the big advertisement to play the game, you guys are shitting on. I just don't understand that. That doesn't make any sense to me.
What's the point?
And it's like, okay, you guys shit on the pro scene. You guys don't want to play conquests, learn all these builds. But like, the conquest community has never been like, oh, we don't want y'all here. Yeah, all these game modes need to go.
We want y'all to play Conquest.
Yes, we
We
want y'all to.
need y'all to play Conquest.
And don't be boosted when you do it.
Y'all create all these excuses to not play the game, and we're like, okay, we'll help.
And then they don't play Conquest because they don't understand how to play it because they're so stuck in these party game mentalities. And then no one makes any like posts that explain what to do with the new meta. So you get people coming
There's
in
no
here
meta
trying it out
discussions. There's
and
only like,
fucking up and
yeah.
ruining the game experience for everyone. It's like it's a self-fulfilling loop that I feel like a lot of Smite players love to put themselves in.
And I think I
It's fucking
mentioned this
Ouroboros.
last episode where like it's just like it's kind of on high res as well to push that game mode more than the other game modes. Give it some events, give it something. Like why does Arena get a seasonal, map? Why does Joust get the second, a second map change in like the last 3 seasons? So I mean, like I'm not even, and this isn't even like we're not even trying to point fingers. I don't think anyone is trying to point fingers. I think we're all in this community trying to figure out what works the best. But what doesn't help is when you people get on this subreddit and all you post is everything that does not have to do with the game. And I say like the competitive side is what I mean. When you get on here and you post stuff that does not have to do with the competitive game, and that's not even saying, oh y'all, like let's get rid of these art like these god concepts, these art projects, blah blah blah, whatever. That communities need that. We need the creative side for communities. That's where content creation comes from. That like we need those.
But if
Need
that's
that content, but that shouldn't be the main source of content on
that
what.
shouldn't even be the only form of content, because that's where the issue really spawns, right? Like that's the main source of content is people posting their. I don't want to call it amateur. I mean, I went to art school. You wouldn't last the critique in one of my illustration classes. But you know what I mean? It's like if that's the only thing people are
See, I
interested
like seeing
in,
memes like that,
then
but
what is it?
yeah, actually, I
Oh,
haven't really
did
been
they
on
make
art
some
Smite.
changes to the rules?
Yeah, I think they allow memes now,
Be
but I'm
relevant
not
to
sure.
Oh
Smite.
wow, that helps the game a lot. I mean, it could on like an advertisement, emotional,
Like this should
but
be limited.
All of it's media.
Like
literally,
Literally everything is media,
I
media,
have no one want to
concept,
read.
media. Then there's one mega thread, which isn't bad. But these mega threads been going on forever. It's always just Clash mega threads. Like there's only so much you can say about a class.
like what does this have to do with the game? Like I guess memes are right now, but like
Oh, Ymir. Huh,
it's just
How's that your
interesting.
media?
it's just kind of
I guess.
it just doesn't make any sense why it's like this. I mean, and in case adapting did see, hey adapting, thanks for
Oh baby, I
sign
remember
up,
you, my
sign up.
favorite jungler. It's like,
Uh,
Yo,
until you
King
stop
in
winning.
case you saw the video, in case you saw the podcast, and you were like, "Damn, I've been saying this for years." Let me read. You're welcome. It's like, you're welcome, adapting. I know.
That's cap.
Because he's not welcome.
But
I said it.
it's just kind of. I just wish there's a change.
It's like, no, we love you.
I wouldn't like unless like I wouldn't even know how you would go. Oh, damn! I keep forgetting things I had to walk back on. I said that Reddit is the representative, and then after seeing how the whole adapting the whole subreddit situation gone down, I completely retract that. All right, I said it was representative. It is not. These guys are out of their mind. Don't know what they're talking about. These don't represent us. Please, don't think they do. Cause this shit. Oh my gosh. I like since I said that I've been like maybe I was a little too harsh, or maybe like maybe like let me be more invested in the Smite community. So I've been looking at more content creators. I've been looking at the subreddit more, trying to be more invested, trying to be more involved. And I'm just like, when I look at what these guys say in the comments of the subreddit, or when I look at what they post, that Pele cosplay.
No,
Ah!
don't go on those. I love that guy. The guy that does no budget cosplays, keep doing what you're doing. All right.
Top tier content.
That's content. That's fucking content.
And so then let's talk about something that happened a little bit
So don't do
before
that.
this adapting situation on the subreddit. Let's talk about the new god coming out, Mulan. How do y'all feel about her design? Because I know a lot of people were hopping on high res about how it just looks stupid compared to what they were, what was data mined. So
I do not care.
you don't really care about it.
I mean, I
do not
guess
care.
I think I saw like one thing about her like having boob armor, and I was just
Yeah, they were talking about, like, she's supposed to hide the fact that she's a woman or something. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't care about that.
I think artists should be allowed to reinterpret things like that. Like, I understand the need to keep things 100% on lore for the like just the aesthetic of the game, but also good character design is good character design, and she does not look bad. Or he, for all the people who want her to be a boy so fucking bad.
Or that, I don't know, man. At this point, everyone knows she's a girl.
At this point, it's not like I'm a player mid, so
I like these
about no
two.
Mulan.
Even though they look kind of rough,
Rough as fuck.
I like that they're trying stuff like this.
I I honestly,
I like her
I'm a.
design.
They said that they were going to make tier 2.
This is cool, but like
They
the
said
other
that they
one's
were
not too
going to
bad
make
either.
this a tier 2 for her down the
I
line.
I can dig it. Like I don't know.
I
It's pretty good.
honestly,
I just think we're arguing about the wrong fucking things. Like again, everything that deals with the game, that's not about what the game should actually be about. I no, it's whatever. If you want to talk about this but refuse to talk about conquest, then okay. See where your focus is.
yeah. I mean, I
Which would
honestly don't.
explain why it's all art on the Reddit, I guess. Quote unquote.
I honestly don't have. I mean, people can argue about the boob armor. In game, it kind of looks a little but I don't have a problem with the design. I do dislike the fact that they got rid of the scarf. I just like. I think.
Yeah, that shit does look kind of
Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
I
the
think.
scarf is amazing.
Yeah, the edgy scarf, meme on like anime. Like, oh my gosh, like, oh, who is that? Why are they hiding their face behind a
Is that
scarf?
Sasuke?
Ah! But
Season 1 Naruto Sasuke in red?
Yeah, Naruto, Sasuke, Itachi.
Oh, is she a part of the Akatsuki? Oh my god! Like, I honestly, unironically like it. I think it's a pretty cool design. Uh, but I honestly don't have a problem with this.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, I don't really care. Like, it's she gonna look the way she look, and if I like it, I'm gonna play it. If I don't, I'm not. Like,
And either way, y'all are starting the wrong conversations with high res. You got everybody in there's brain fucked up, and that's why they can't focus on the actual game. They over here thinking about, oh no, this god design is so old, the backlash. Oh, like what?
like but my
Again,
jungle.
make this exactly make this fucking game better. Optimize this better. Do what you're supposed to be doing.
Didn't
Oh
Rainbow
my
Six do that shit a while back?
What?
They had like Operation Health or something.
I'm not
Remember,
sure.
and the game was just really in a really bad state, and they just focused a patch around just fixing all the bugs and cleaning it
yeah,
up.
yeah. I think I know what you're talking about.
That's good. I like that.
And I mean, honestly, like you've seen it, like seeing how high res has like handled the development cycle. Like I remember back when I was playing season 2, season 3, there was a god released every 2 weeks. I mean, not every 2 weeks, but every other patch. So it was like,
Yeah, I
and the
remember
patch
that.
cycle was like 2-3 weeks. Like there would be a patch for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then like the next patch there would be a new god. And
It's
they're
pretty
like,
much
okay, we need
monthly.
to we need to take a step back. We need to, I don't think they're releasing as many gods as quickly anymore. But so I hope like in the near future, as far as the development cycle goes, they develop something that's a little more like we don't need these big, grandiose like patches. I'm not advocating for that. Like, but like just a patch or two just dedicated to like the small stuff, optimizing the game. Like, what do you guys have to lose? It's literally your job. So like to
Yeah,
make
I wonder about that quite often.
yeah, like what do you guys have to lose to make it so I don't randomly, you know, crash in the middle of the game?
Yeah, I literally crashed twice today just because I had fucking InDesign in the background. I'm over here sitting designing while in queue and the game just crashes. Like, okay, I don't know if this is me, but
I was
as
playing
soon as I close
earlier.
it, it's not an issue anymore.
I was playing earlier and then I kept having weird visual bugs around the mid harpies where the wall was phasing in and out and the floor sunk into itself.
Huh?
Exactly.
Excuse me?
I've had games and I even have the screenshot I showed you guys where my items were just gone from my
Yeah, I
inventory.
remember that.
There's times today had probably been the worst day for like bugs and shit like that. But today I didn't have a status bar. I couldn't see what my item said until I backed and had to open the inventory that way and I like until I bought a new item, I could not see what item passives, descriptions, or any of that was. So it was like, what the fuck is going on? So I don't like it. Like we're preaching to the choir, but like just please, just y'all need to look at y'all game.
Yes, please look at the fucking game.
All right, guys. now that we talked about the subreddit, we talked about season 7. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of this podcast. Now, last time, one of our last topics that we had mentioned was god classes and roles, and how, and even today we've kind of, actually no, it might have been just last time. I don't know if we mentioned it earlier in the stream, where we talked about what defines a god as far as roles and classes go. Like, what makes a support a support? Like, how can we make this god class, these god classes better, or where they're more accurate? Because you can't sit up here and tell me, all right? Y'all cannot sit up here and tell
I'm gonna
me
talk about
that
your mom.
Artier, you can't sit up here and tell me that Artio and Sylvanas are both supports. And that's the class that both of them need to be in.
I don't know. I had a Sylvana. You
Y'all,
shitting on my Shingen support.
y'all can't sit in here and tell me that Horus is in the same vein as every other warrior when he has a kit around supporting. But because he's a physical god, they have to put him in warrior because the classes just aren't that well designed or well defined enough to account for these things, especially because you'll maybe this was all right early on in the game's life cycle, but we're season 7. How many years? Like
The game came out like 2011.
yeah, like 9 years into this
It was
game.
about 9.
9 years into this game's life cycle. And this is still how y'all choose to define these gods?
Yeah, I feel like it was just a band-aid fix that got way out of hand.
I mean,
Think so?
I've always advocated for blurring. I mean, especially because with these newer gods, the lines are already blurred as far as role and class. You know, and they've already made changes because of that fact. But if they already if they did anything, if they changed it in any meaningful way, you wouldn't have to see these god role changes. You wouldn't have to see Hades transition from guardian to mage.
Why was he a guardian in the first place?
You wouldn't have to see. You wouldn't have to see
Because he did.
Robin go from assassin to warrior to assassin. Because if they were better defined in what they did, this is a god who does this thing specifically, not broadly. Oh, they have an ability that they have CC and they're tanky, so they're a support. That's such a ass backwards way of just describing these gods. And honestly, not having a good role system, not a role system, but not having a good class, class and role system can be a turnoff to some people. It can be kind of hard because they're, as I said, they can be like, oh, I like playing support, and they play Artio after playing Sylvanas, and they're like, this isn't the same at all.
Yeah.
You know, they can take who else is in this support class or in Guardian class? Artio, I would say. Cabrakan. Why is Cabrakan a Guardian?
Cabrakan is not a guardian.
When have you ever seen Cabrakan? I'm being facetious, but when have you seen Cabrakan in that lane? I mean, there's arguments for it. There's arguments for it. Cerberus. I feel like I've seen more Cerberus solo than I have in support. Same with Yorm.
That's true. I don't know. Those gods do not work in that role.
I feel like, and then there's like Yamoja does everything. Why is she just why is she capped to Guardian? Like, why are y'all capping her to Guardian? Like, she's a mage. Why is Yamoja considered a Guardian and does more damage and does more and has more packed into her kit than Hel and Aphrodite, and those are considered mages.
Also, quick cleanup. The alpha, I believe, released in 2011. So it's like I'm just trying to say the game's been in development since that long, and shit's kind of not changed.
You know, because these supports are every role, I want to say, does something completely different. Like there's hunters who play more like mages than mages themselves.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Cool.
You're not gonna sit up here and tell me Chernobog isn't just a mage.
I'm not gonna sit up here and tell me that he's good when he's actually pretty bad.
That's another story.
I'm gonna dash into the wall. Okay,
Chernobog.
now what? Are you
You
gonna
know,
fly at me? Ooh.
If I had, I wouldn't change any of the hunters to another role, but I would move some of the mages to hunter.
definitely,
Just you already know which
yeah,
mages
definitely
should be
Freya,
hunters.
definitely Kronos, definitely Olarun.
Fucking Soul.
So yeah, I forgot about her.
I think that's it. Like I feel like the
You
mage
can
class is
maybe
just full
make
of.
the argument for Zeus, maybe.
Chronos.
Used
Did
to
you say
back
Chronos?
when he had his old too.
Yeah, the attack speed.
But yeah, when they gave him attack speed and when people hit him, he got start charges of his 3.
What about attack speed Nuwa?
Niggas was really playing. Oh, people was really playing AD
Hey, there we
Nuwa.
go.
People was really playing AD Nuwa at Worlds, and I will always watch Smite Worlds. Okay,
Shut
so
the
when I
fuck
came in and saw people playing Nuwa over there, I was like, what did I miss? This what we doing now?
meta. It's meta.
Like
I missed the
gods
meta.
like Nike or Guan Yu or Horus, I would say are pretty much not even like, because I feel like solo is specifically for the laning phase. Like like I feel like hunter and mages are more about team fights into late game or whatever, but solo is always an island and always about just those two gods in there with occasional ganks. But generally, most games I've seen, they kind of leave solo laners to their devices. That's like the 1v1 lane.
Let's fuck that place until Fire Giant comes up. Fuck,
Yeah,
what? Why
like
would I go over there?
like
Solan is already level 20.
yeah, like
Like shit.
so it doesn't make any sense when you have these gods who are more utility based in the warrior class instead of being for the lane.
Classified as support.
So like I mean, like what are some classes that you guys? Because I
I
know right off
mean,
the top of my head, healer is one, bruiser is another. I misspelled bruiser. Too many R's.
Bruiser.
Control mage.
We don't really need to split the mage class. I think you just keep mage.
Just all mages together. I mean,
Yeah.
other than like Afro and Hell and
Yeah.
And then you have to look
Alcong.
at the specific attack speed oriented mages. I feel like
Yeah, but they can just go.
split
The
off.
problem is, it's
Magic
just too
hunters.
many gods that are just default classified as mages because they did magic damage.
Baron's another one. Where would you put Baron? Because I feel like yeah, you can play him mid, but I feel like more people play him support or solo. And
Yeah,
I
he's
still
better
actually
nail.
in
think
those.
he's. I
Better in
actually think
those.
he's a bruiser.
You would put him bruiser.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll go through. I just want to go through all the classes right quick.
Okay.
Well, we're like another one's Alcong, who's pretty much an assassin, but like
Yeah. Just flesh out the classes first, and then we can get there.
all right. So what are some other? So we have healer, bruiser. You don't want to split the mages up.
Yeah. Just put mage.
Yeah,
You can split
Mage.
hunters though.
No.
You know,
You don't have to
hunters.
split hunters. You can
magic
just
No, no, no,
split.
hunter.
no,
Well,
no, no,
not
no, no.
splitting the hunters themselves, but having a designated like attacks or
I think there should
No, no.
I think there should
magic
be
hunter.
because I would consider magic hunters also casters with also
I don't.
because
I don't know. I feel like they should just be hunters.
But you don't
I mean, I'm not saying that they're
necessarily.
not. I'm not saying they're not. Like they would still be considered hunters, but I definitely think that casters are late game scaling ADCs that are late game scaling in their abilities more than solely their auto attacks. So I feel like that's an important distinction to make because if you go into the game like, oh,
That's what I
I'm
was saying.
playing Artemis, like again, I'll make the same argument. Artemis does not play like Carnunos or Chernobog,
Soul doesn't play like Scylla.
you know. So I think casters, and honestly, they just need to like get rid of the whole. Not maybe not in game, but as far as classes go, they need to get rid of the whole physical magical split. As far as just god classification, but
So you think everyone should be able to build everything?
no, I'm saying not in the game, but as far as just the god, like how they classify
I
gods.
think
Like Alcon's magical, but he should obviously be an assassin.
just
Right?
like leave the guardian role because there's too many. There's too many supports. Like you can put tanks and you can put guardians
Yeah,
because
yeah.
there's a lot of guardians in the game that are actually this is how Hi-Rez built them.
Is there any other classes or like? I mean, I think I'd take out tanks and then just assassins.
Yeah.
All right. So obviously healer, Aphrodite. I don't think anyone's gonna contest that.
Yeah.
I think most of these are pretty obvious. Now, would you put AMC hunter or caster?
I think his autos can still hit pretty hard. I feel like he can go either or.
Yeah, but he's a caster. Like his default build is just
Is it
pin.
attack damage?
So
well, not
you
attack damage. I mean, fucking ability damage.
I want to put Amma in Guardian.
think so?
She doesn't play for lane. She has abilities centered around supporting her team. And she has big AoE CC. I think she's more of a support.
Yeah, you can make the argument because of her attack speed, her attack chain, and her passive that she could be a bruiser.
Yeah.
But the general playstyle of Amaterasu is that of a guardian. So
It's like peel this guy off of me right now.
Yeah. She has a silence in her dash. Like
Ahurt can also be a hunter or a caster.
That's
depending
true.
on how you build him.
I feel like if you're playing him as a caster, it's just because you want that ult damage. But I feel like more people play him
as a hunter.
for the auto attacks.
Yeah.
Anubis, Alquan, assassin.
Yep.
No one's arguing.
Hunter,
Apollo.
Achilles
He's
definitely
a bruiser.
Yeah, bruiser. Honestly, I kind of want to put him here.
For what? Because you can play him in fucking jungle.
No, not because you can play him in jungle, but because
for the execute.
Yeah, because late game
That's ugly.
You don't play Achilles like you would other like solo laners. Your job as Achilles is to disrupt the back line and execute the carries. I feel like that's an assassin's job.
You can say that about any warrior you
he's
play solo
definitely
lane.
But no one has a guaranteed. You can't guaranteed kill any other god with those warriors. But that's literally Achilles' old game plan is to get back there and burst someone down so that he can execute.
I feel you.
He's more of a hybrid in that sense then, because like his passive in itself like lends itself
lets
to
you
the
choose.
I mean, it gives you tank stats, but like
if
I feel
you
like
so
his
choose.
play, I feel like
most
his
people
play
just
style is
keep the armor off though. Right?
Yeah. So where do y'all put Arachne?
In the trash can?
Yeah.
Where else was I supposed to put her? Not on my team. Now Olu must be Olu playing solo.
I will put her as a bruiser, to be honest.
Bruiser.
Yeah.
That's
And
like that bitch. God, this is garbage.
Aries as well. Aries is definitely a
a
bruiser.
bruiser? You consider him just a bruiser?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Since they're like the
His
tank.
peel is strictly like accidental, to be honest. He's doing the shit he already wants to do. You just happen to be there. Like,
But you have to consider his passive, right? He has to really build aura items to get the most out of that, and that would
yeah.
kind of put him in that
That
guardian
that's
category.
Hara making him a guardian though.
I
You
Yeah,
see.
can't
that's
give him
she
a
was running
passive like
him.
that and then
Yeah.
give him his kit. That doesn't
Very
make any sense.
yeah, that bolster defenses.
RDO definitely a Brewster.
Booster.
Bruce.
I
Brewster.
I'm Athena definitely a guardian.
Yeah, I agree.
think
Very
that god should
passive.
also go in the garbage can.
Bruh,
Whatever
stop.
you say.
I'm putting
Whatever.
Bacchus
I'm
as
making
the
the
point.
argument.
That she's bad?
No,
Yes,
no,
we're on
no.
the same page.
Oh no!
I'm talking about Bacchus.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I'm making the
Bacchus,
I can see
argument for
that.
Bacchus as a
Bacchus
mage.
is a guardian.
I'm gonna need to
Fucking
hear
fight
the
me.
argument because
Fucking
Bacchus
fight
out
me.
of what other guardian has as much burst damage as Bacchus?
Bacchus is a caster, actually.
I would not put him in the same categories of fucking AMC.
But
he
like,
went
look at it. Like, are you
Full
are you
his
full
sure?
Bacchus.
magical
Are you
damage
sure?
Bacchus. His ult is slapping the back line.
That's what I'm saying. I just watched someone play him jungle the other day, and I was like, yeah, that's
He just
kind of
has a
fucking
special
gross.
kind of support.
But
I
it's
That's
like
what I
I
really
think.
don't even
all
think none of
oriented
his
on how much he's
yeah
drinking.
none of
It's like
his
you have to be drinking
none of his abilities lend itself to a support role. However, he has
at all.
CC, but what does he do for the team?
Eliminate his targets.
As a mage, there you go.
Knocking noobs
There
out.
you go. All right.
And
You
I
can't
can
see
I
my
can
work.
see him as a mage. Though.
Because there's three of us, we'll do a vote. Who said? I say mage. What do you say, McCall? Mage or guardian?
I say caster. As I
Okay,
Mage
you
or
say
said
guardian,
mage.
mage.
McCall. All
Okay.
right, McCall said mage.
You're not gonna pigeonhole me. I
All right.
firmly believe
All
this.
right. All
It's
right.
all about his abilities you're
So we're
keeping
gonna
in chain.
I
we're
can
gonna
make the argument for Bacchus as a bruiser, but
He does have
because
his,
that
we'll
good
his
find
movement.
middle
strongest
ground.
role has always been solo.
We'll I'll
Don't
put
put him in
bruiser.
bruiser. Don't
I
I'll,
use
mean,
that as a
that's burst
default.
damage.
That's what I'm
Bruisers
saying.
don't really have burst damage.
You're
They
gonna
have
get
like
knocked right
sustained.
the
all
fuck
right, all
out.
right, all right, fine. I'll leave him here.
You can
So
leave him in
Baka
bitch.
assassins.
If Bakasura had the base stats of a warrior, he'd definitely be a bruiser.
Yeah, I think
I
you're safe with assassins.
I feel like most people play him in solo as well.
Yeah, his strongest role has always been solo.
It's always been about fighting for him. Like he
Yeah.
like
Keeping that
gods
minion.
who are like same thing with Bologna. You put Bologna here as a bruiser as well.
Yeah.
Where are we putting Baron? Because I know we were just talking about it. Bruiser, healer, mage.
I definitely wouldn't put him in healer. I mean, it's really
Actually,
between bruiser
I
and
like him as guardian. He's a guardian.
but he only has that. Well, aside from his ult, the one form of CC that's incredibly easy to miss
But he
if you
also
don't
has
have
a
an eye.
heal.
He has crazy CC.
Yeah, he has a heal.
A
He has his
heal.
ult. He doesn't have a lot of burst damage. Let's look at his.
I
kit
mean,
right
yes,
quick.
he kind of does. Like if you played him mid,
I mean, with his
yeah,
like
no. If
passive,
you
if
hit
his
the
passive
entire
attacks, yeah.
combo and then ult, like that's essentially a kill, if not 80% the
He
entire
has an
bar
attack speed
of health.
reduction in his.
He even
I didn't
gives
even
you a
know what the
Baron's
fuck.
brew. Like,
Okay, well, since you make that argument, I guess it's a little bit more feasible.
I didn't even know
Only
that
because
his
that
one
brew.
has an attack speed reduction on it. That's kind of crazy.
yeah, his kit is so like, it lends itself to his teammates.
It's
Like,
like I'm gonna help you, haha.
All right, so
in the most
that's
subtle way.
definitely an assassin. Bracken.
Bruise.
Where are we putting Camazotz?
You
Because
can go in bruiser
Camazotz,
too.
yeah, Camazotz has been kind of running through solo. I think he's also considered top 5 because he can just out heal anything. He just
Camazot's
fights
so
all the
cool.
time.
Too bad I don't play Assassin's Creed.
I'm putting Cerberus as a guardian. He reduces healing. He increases ally healing.
I felt like Cerberus was being played solo because he was so strong, and you just needed him on your team.
Yeah, as far as he's definitely good in team fights. So I guess if you can make it through laning phase, because like I don't,
Yeah.
his clear isn't amazing. I mean, because he also has like the same thing as Yorm, the whole fucking spit on you auto attack, but but like yeah, he's definitely. I feel like he's more of a guardian. I feel like his kit lends itself more towards supporting
I wouldn't
rather
argue against
than
it.
like fighting.
I agree. Yeah.
Caster, Carnunos,
I feel that.
Bruiser, Chalk.
Chalk, he only has
Where are we
one
playing
thing.
Chang'e?
Let's think about this. I mean, you could do
Is
healer,
she a
but like
healer?
honestly, I don't think you should build her as a healer. She is much better as a burst mage, in my opinion. Like
Honestly,
mean,
you're
I'm about to
running.
put her here.
I
She
mean,
can't really fight any of the other bruisers though.
not since like season 2
Yeah.
when fucking DM was playing him solo. Yeah, I like Chang'e as a burst mage. That works.
Kronos is a hunter.
Yeah, I was about to say Kronos is definitely a hunter.
His
I
auto
want to make the
swing.
argument. I want to make the argument for casters being late game scaling gods that scale with their abilities. And yes, you can play yes, you can build him for the auto attacking, but he's a hyper carry that is more focused on his abilities than I would say his auto attacks. Much like a caster.
I mean,
I honestly can't agree with that because when you pop his 2, that's when you get access to his entire passive, and then that shit's just based on auto attacking from that point.
Yeah,
so it's like you're gonna hit your stun, you're gonna hit your incredibly small AOE.
I want to put most of the
fucking hit you.
magical, like honestly, I want to put most of the magical hunters as casters, with the only one being an actual hunter as Freya. That's just me. I think his kit isn't inherently based around an just having an auto attack buff or steroid in your kit.
I think that's what that means, though, Curtis.
I mean, but there's a lot of gods who. All right, well, let me not cap.
I just name them. Name what other mates do what he's
recap.
doing.
Okay, I'm gonna say it like this.
Like, would you say Poseidon
caster.
is a caster because he has a enhanced auto attack on his too?
No, because the
Kronos
rest of
is
his
an
kit
auto-attack
does
god.
a tremendous amount of damage, and you play him for that burst. Whirlpool Kraken. You don't necessarily play Kronos with the thought that, oh, after I hit my stun and hit my small ass AOE, this guy's gonna be half health.
They're meant to be played for their abilities, but they can also be played for their auto attacks. So I just feel like as far as the other than Freya, the only magical ADC that works is, I mean, that wouldn't be in caster. Like, that's Freya. Other than Freya, that's it. I feel like every other magical ADC can also be played outside of just their auto attacks. And as far like Soul, no one's building a bunch of rings on Soul and building her just for attack speed. They want some damage behind it. I feel like if you're gonna be playing these, ADC mages, then. But I'll do the vote. I say caster. Marcus, caster or hunter?
See, I want to say caster, but then like you gotta look at the gods beside him. I'm guessing Cupid's gonna go in the casters as well.
As far
and
as
you can't really,
yeah,
and you
because
can't really
most of his kit is his one and his ult.
Yeah,
most of it's built around his abilities. Yeah.
Cupid and Kronos like two weighted, completely different gods.
But the
so
thing
the fact
is,
that they're in the
all right. I mean, I just don't want to give up. Like, I feel like this caster is like it fits. If you look at the other gods, yes, you can build them strictly auto attack. You can build them auto attack and a ability damage, or you can just build them ability damage, and they would all work. I feel like that's where Kronos is. He just works. he doesn't have to build attack speed.
Okay, we can keep him there for now.
I'm just saying where if you're gonna play him and be effective, then you need to be autoing because that's a
I mean,
large
no
portion
one's
of his kit,
contesting that.
regardless.
No one's contesting that as far as
So
these
it's like
like.
that in itself would lend itself to the
But I feel
hunter
like
build. I
the
see what you're
hunters.
saying. I
The
just
hunters
don't
are
see
just.
people building strictly attack or ability damage based Chronos and being
Really?
effective. No. Because
Wow. I feel like.
again, your only two damaging abilities are that small ass AoE and your fucking stun.
But
And then what are you
don't you
gonna
do more
do?
damage with your 1 if you hit your 3? Is that not how that works?
No, it just stops him, right?
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it's just a
It's
stun
just a stun.
that does like some small scaling.
Yeah, it just does the damage twice when you hit him, and then
Wow.
another time when they're stunned. That's all.
Reduces attack
But like
speed
the
by
synergy
20%.
within his shit is just
What
like,
the
you know,
fuck?
It reduces attack speed.
wow, I know.
What?
It's not what it feels like.
No, it doesn't. They about to make me open Smite right now.
Right. Hop in jungle practice.
Enemies hit by Chronos attack have their attack speed reduced and ramp to a stun. Oh, so leading up to the stun, you have your attack speed.
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes
Slow
sense.
down. I remember now.
Okay.
I was like assuming after the stun. That would be
Yeah.
really fucking strong.
That'd be, you can't even
I've
trade with
never
him.
seen that.
So
I
Chakotay,
would say
we're
Caster if
going
that was the case.
Bruiser.
Yeah, that garbage piece of shit god.
Yeah, he's
Damn, that's
terrible.
crazy.
Put him in the garbage, literally.
Cupid, Caster, Daji, Assassin, Mage, Discordia. Where y'all
Mercy
putting? Where you
Day.
putting? Erlang.
Bruiser.
It's funny. He could play literally 4 different roles.
Yeah,
with
that's
one
why I'm
release.
like. I
That's
feel
Pretty
like
insane.
versatile.
with the whole taunt and knockup.
He's a bruiser though. Heart
And
to
the
heart.
stealth heal. I was like,
He's
yeah,
a bruiser.
he's
Heart to
trading
heart.
with lane. Knock you the fuck out.
Definitely a guardian for Faffy.
I'm putting Fenrir here.
Yeah, I agree. He's definitely a bruiser.
I feel like
Yeah.
you build him off tank. There's just a lot of fighting
Hybrid.
with him.
Autos a lot, Stays in the fight.
Honestly, I also want to put him here as well because he has the whole if he did more for the team other than just his ult, I would put him in Guardians. But I think right there for a bruiser, he's just someone who.
I mean, you can make the argument because his passive does give the stun.
That's the new meme. You can
That
make
could
the
be
argument.
a lot with that. A lot of setup
I
potential.
mean, you could make the argument that that's the meme.
So we're gonna put Freya in Hunters. As I was saying, she's like the only magical where it's like you have to build attack speed on her because her auto attacks are her entire kit. Ganesh Guardian.
No.
Geb Guardian.
Gab Guardian.
Guan Yu, I want to say Guardian as well.
Yeah, protection
Um,
reduction.
Heals
on this
minions.
three.
Yeah, stun.
Slow on this too.
You don't really play him for lane.
Yeah.
I don't really play him at all, so well, I don't care.
It's pretty fun.
Hachi is an interesting case.
Play that shit mid and see what I do to you.
Because
I think Hachi's a hunter.
sometimes see him with Transcendence, but I feel like the more effective way to play him is with auto attack, is as a hunter, like like crit, attack speed.
Them in hands.
Are we putting Hades as a? My bad, I had something on my fucking tongue.
Let me stop.
Are we putting
Don't
Hades
do that.
as
Don't do
a
that.
bruiser or a mage? Because
I think he's a bruiser.
Yeah, I guess you could say
But I
that.
want to put
But
him
his burst damage is kind of insane.
Yeah.
That's really unexpected.
It all depends on how you build him.
Yeah,
I think he's a mage though.
Yeah, we'll put a mage. Habois, is he an assassin, guys?
Waterman?
Waterman's an assassin. I don't care what none of y'all say.
Waterman is. I mean, I've seen Marcus play some hot Waterman.
I don't care what none of y'all say.
As a
His
Waterman
job is
jungle
to
enthusiast, I can't put him as an assassin.
No,
Like,
his job is to
I'm
get that backline with wave and just be disruptive. He has a slow. I honestly think. I think we should also like try to like talk about what defines what class. Also, I feel like warriors or
Can we do
bruisers we
that?
talked about. No, I don't think we did it much in detail. Like I think bruisers, warriors, or whatever, they have an ability in their kit that has heal or anti-heal, and they should have a cleave. I feel like all war. All right,
They
y'all
clean.
might disagree with me, but I think all warriors should have a cleave as a part of their attack chain.
Oh,
Auto attack chain. I'm sorry.
I mean, that would help Wukong a lot.
It would help
yeah.
all of the
So yeah,
warriors. Like it's just. It feels like the fact that like I feel like no other class has a lot of has as many gods that have cleaves, and then like would then give gods who don't have like much clear a cleave as well. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. Like I feel like warriors have so many so many ways to clear the wave. Like I feel like just go
quote
ahead,
unquote.
balls to the wall. Warriors should just be focused on laning, and then they should just be stronger than everyone else late game, and just should be frontline as far as team fights go, so that they're not completely useless. But I definitely put Guan Yu there. Habwa as assassin. I feel like if you have a movement ability and you have an ability that bursts or executes, I feel like you should definitely be considered like an assassin. Like if you have like movement with that, like because like mages have burst, but they don't have movement. I would say not like that. Not all
Okay.
mages.
Kukulkan.
Kukulkan has
Oh,
movement speed, but like I mean, there's nuance, but like I feel like getting in and getting
Mulan?
out.
oh.
But like, where do you think he should go? Where do you think Habwa should go?
An assassin. I think you can really play him in like you couldn't have the same positioning that you would have with a Scylla with a Huabwa.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's more
How
like
about
that. He needs to be very close to you, aside from the water sprout. And other than that, yeah,
And then
what else
one
is he
thing I
gonna do
think
to get off
about the
his
difference
damage?
between Habwa and other mages is that Habwa needs to be hitting the back line. He can't waste his time on tanks. He can't burst a tank down.
Was
Like
edgy.
he doesn't have like the AoE. He's not afforded the AoE or the range that other mages are, to where he can be in the back line doing damage like a Agni or Alpoage. Where he can just put something down. There's damage. He has to actively be trying to kill the carry like an
All
assassin.
about that range, how close you are. Might as well just make him a physical guy, so you gotta use his hands or whatever and start boxing.
What do you think,
Might as
Marcus?
well.
that wouldn't be as fun?
Where do you
Waterman.
stand on Waterman?
I still like him as a mage. He's
All
just a
right.
unique kind of mage.
We're gonna keep him here because me and McCall is 2v1.
You are overruled.
Yeah. So
God damn.
Shut your ass up.
Fucking America.
Hera, Mage. Where are we
Yeah.
putting Hercules?
Herc is definitely a bruiser.
I was like, what? Was that even a question?
Where are we putting Hu Yi?
Hu Yi's a hunter.
I mean,
Yeah, I'm kind of like,
you got a lot of utility after Mark. Like a lot of utility.
And I feel like most people
Most of his
go for.
It,
Obviously, depends
it is
on
all
the
based
meta.
around
Yeah, but like,
his mark though. Like I think you have to put him in caster because like you're to get all your damage
all
off,
of
you're
it,
gonna want to
it's
get a
just
stun or a knock up.
his abilities are usually just to set up him boxing you. Like,
Yeah, but they all coincide. It's like a sequence. It's not like
you
I
can
can throw
use
this
that
out and then
argument for
start
any of the casters, can't you?
auto attacking.
Like you would say for AMC, like most of his abilities are like disarm, disrupt, and be able to box you, and you not be able to, can't
like
use.
AMC has a lot of bursts from that. He only has to hit you like 2-3 autos after you jump his kit.
Well,
Hu
yeah, I
Yi-
will say
makes
that.
sense.
Like, I don't think I would. Hu Yi uses his abilities a lot, but if we're gonna say he's a caster, he doesn't really have burst. I would say maybe from his. And
Yeah.
Until he dropped them suns
Ricochet.
on
I'm
your
gonna say
bitch ass, and then
Ricochet.
He
what?
drops the suns so he can slow
Ricochet.
daughter you. He ricochets you to
In the
stunt you and
suns,
auto
and
you.
you're gonna die.
Like he
That's like
jumps on
literally
you
half
to
your health
auto.
bar. Like the stun in the suns, and then where are you gonna go unless you have a dash or a leap? Like you're gonna sit right there, and that's your entire health bar, and that's due
And
to the
I
ability.
honestly feel like I've
He'll walk
never
up and auto you
seen.
once to execute.
I feel like I've never seen a who he not build transcendence.
You can build transcendence and still be a crit hunter.
I mean, I'm not saying that, but I feel like if you're
Probably
building
wouldn't be smart,
transcendence,
but
yeah, I'm
yeah.
about to say, but I feel like if you're building transcendence, it's usually because you want your abilities to hit a little harder.
Yeah, you rely on that little extra mana burst so you can continue to use your abilities. Because again, like the
But
mark, for
who
example.
you can also build gloves.
Devo
People have
gloves, yeah.
yeah. I've seen people like prefer gloves on who you.
Preference is subjective.
Eh,
I guess it's all subjective.
yeah.
Life.
So,
Subject.
Whombot's assassin. Well, actually,
Monkey
Monkey
time is an assassin.
time.
Monkey
Monkey
time is an
time.
assassin.
Yeah, so
oh,
throw
they
his
got
ass right
old
there.
white ISIS.
Oh, true.
Yeah, that
All
nigga got
right, I don't think McCall's gonna let us get it. Like, where are we putting in Izanami?
hmm. Damn,
Because
I
I
think about this.
feel like she is a caster.
You can play. Yeah, she's one of those guys that's like so good either way, like Devil Gloves or Transcendence.
I don't even play the guy, so y'all can do this one out.
I mean, in this current meta, I think she could be considered a hunter because crit build is just too strong. But like a few weeks ago, she was definitely a caster.
Oh, see it, yo, y'all can't put Izanami as a hunter and then put Hui as a caster.
Yes, you can.
They have
All
like the same
Izanami
shit.
has is her fucking. Not necessarily.
She
I think Hui's.
literally has an auto attack buff in her kit though.
That's true.
Hui's
But
two buffs his auto attacks too, to be honest.
No,
Not in the same way,
I'm
but they
about to
buff
say
him.
no. I'm like they
it's
give
very
you
slight.
protections. Like they give
No,
him.
it gives him percentage
I
HP
mean,
damage.
yeah. What does this shit do? What does this shit do? Let's see. Let's look.
I don't like that guy, so
Damage increased. Who he marks an enemy. Abilities and basic attacks though. It's not just his basic attacks.
oh, discrepancy. Look at you.
But still,
Wrong.
it's
He's a
weird.
caster.
It's so fucking weird.
The entire kit is activated by one ability, and it's not like a straight up attack speed buff. So I don't think you can call him a hunter. He definitely has to be a caster.
Honestly, these two need to just
I mean, like
class of their own.
Izanami could, yeah, like she could fit in that caster category, but honestly,
On it,
her
you know
best
what?
draw is the commas being her fucking
It's
caster. Like
really
that
like
double
same thing
hit
with
is
On
just
Her and Hachi.
too
It's like
insane.
yes, you can build them both as ability damage versus auto attacking, but what are you seeing more of?
And what works better for the god? I think her fucking crit build is definitely the better option at this point. Like there's just too many. You can see the difference. Like you literally will see the. Like the only time I can call her a caster if I was playing her mid.
So Giannis Mage, fucking Jingwei Hunter.
Oh, see, look, you can. Because her little knock up, and then the in hand.
But I feel like I haven't seen people build for ability damage or transcendence on Jingwei since like she was released, and they didn't realize that was not the thing to be doing.
Definitely not the move. She's definitely a hunter. I was joking.
Uh,
Especially because you get attack speed off of all her shit. So like, what would you call this?
I know Kali builds straight damage, right? Listen to me.
I mean,
Okay, let's
Cyclone
delete
Spin
that.
did play
That's
Kali
spicy.
ADC once. So.
That's spicy. Let me see.
Late game scaling hyper carry.
She's melee though.
So is Merc.
So
They're
you
assassins.
gonna call Merc a fucking hunter too?
I would call Merkin a hunter.
They're assassins.
I think you're just trying to be stubborn right now. They're definitely
reaching.
assassins.
Okay, but listen, right? What other assassin has their kit based around auto attacks? Like Kali or Mercury?
Scroll down so I can see the rest of these people.
Maybe Loki?
Don't even bring him up. The fuck? Who?
But what other assassin has their damage not coming from just their abilities?
I guess, but that doesn't
Because
make them any less of glass
because you're
cannon
not
after they
really
miss one
bursting
thing.
you're not really bursting anyone with your 1-2 as Kali. I guess you can say you're bursting someone with your 1
Arachne.
as Mercury. But no one plays Arachne like an assassin. She doesn't like.
What? She definitely dives the back line. Like, what else would you be doing?
But like a bruiser, because she's just because she likes to fight. She benefits from fighting. She has healing in her kit. She has a stun from auto attacking and boxing.
Does Kali not benefit from fighting when you can ult when you're gonna die and then just win the fight if it's especially
But the
if it's a
difference
solo
between
engagement?
Kali and Arachne is that Arachnes are going to be building off tank. You're building Kali strictly damage.
Yeah, I mean I've seen Weekend build. It's a pretty strong non-hybrid builds with Arachne, but I see what you're saying.
I just feel like no assassin, like most assassins, aren't super late game hyper carries. Let's be real. Like most
I feel
assassins,
like that depends on the player.
I think most assassins' bursts usually come from their abilities, not their auto attacks, not from their build. That's why a lot of assassins are really good early game, pretty alright mid game, and they kind of peter off. But do y'all really disagree with me this much? Is Kali and Mercury considered assassins? Are y'all?
Yeah, I just from the simple fact that they're melee, like I don't really feel comfortable putting
them in the
a
hunter.
melee guy.
But so is Freya.
I mean, but Kali is a hunter in real life. Is that not what she does? Is she not using her passive and hunting down very specific targets to get them?
Ooh, that better not have been your new phone.
The whole screen just cracked, picks it up, and glass shards just start falling, scattering in the wind.
So Kepri's definitely a guardian.
Kepri.
Kukulkan mage. Shouts out to Kukulkan.
Man, I wish my mages had like
shout out to me.
So
double category.
Kumba, Bruiser, or Guardian?
Guardian.
Yeah, I'd say Guardian.
Bunch of disruption.
Okay. I almost want to put him in the same spot as Bacchus as a mage, but I don't feel like I don't think he's used in that position as much as because I feel like I've seen more Bacchus jungle or like Bacchus out of support lane than I would say I've seen Kumba out of support. Kunzimbo, Guardian.
Yeah, he can't really be a bruiser.
This guy doesn't exist. Can I delete this?
If you delete that, you gotta delete Athena off this shit too.
He's an assassin, like he's the definition of an assassin.
Ugly ass. Look at his face.
This next one is also going to be where there's a lot of discourse. Hunter or caster? Medusa.
Caster.
But she has an auto attack buff in her kit. And I feel like
it's caster. It's definitely caster because you're gonna want to hit that fucking her dash for the anti-heal. There's a lot of utility within her abilities themselves. That's caster for sure. I don't like that god.
Y'all might kill me for this.
Or that other god.
Y'all might kill me for this.
I mean, I don't care.
Boy, if you don't stop playing these games.
I don't ever see
spicy.
the Morrigan in mid lane. She's
always
in solo lane.
She's more of an assassin.
Transforming.
She's definitely more of an assassin.
All right. You know what? I'll cop for assassin because you're
She's
right.
fucking.
Why the fuck would she be a bruiser, Curtis?
Because she fights so much and she can transform into other gods that
Quote unquote fight so much.
we put in Nemesis with the assassins or the bruisers.
She could
Assassin.
be a bruiser. No, she could be a bruiser. She could definitely
cannot
take
be
a few punches.
Not anymore. That bitch will get knocked the fuck out. She can't take no punch.
But the thing is, I feel like she doesn't have that burst damage that other assassins do.
She does her ult does percentage HP.
It does
That's
damage?
gonna be- Yes.
Yeah. You know that when you drop it, it does.
Like that's fucking burst. Hello? She can't even miss it. Fucking 30%.
What does that say? I think that word starts with a D.
I thought it was. I thought
First
it was. But I mean, I haven't kept up with Nemesis much, but I could have swore it just stole protections.
It does a lot.
Gave you more damage or gave you a buff or whatever.
Her passive plus that, you're dying. That's burst.
All right, we'll put her assassin. Where are we putting Naja? Because Naja support.
Yeah,
people been building him off tank.
But his kit is meant to kill. Like
you can really say he's a bruiser though.
Yeah,
I think you can make that argument too.
Really flexible.
His sustain now, especially, is kind of amazing after you get Malice.
She's a bruiser.
Yeah, that shit's always.
I say she is a guardian with her new changes.
She's a bruiser.
I feel like she was a bruiser before, but with this 2 change, like who are you fighting that's ranged in the solo lane? That's definitely okay, but that's definitely But I definitely think that if anything, that was definitely a support Nike. I mean, look at her passive. That's literally around her other teammates.
Owl cave.
I don't really care about Nike anyway. Release Nike was better anyway.
Yeah, bruh.
I don't understand why they made that change. I'm like, bro, it was not that hard to use her fucking rend. Like, stop playing.
She took too much skill expression. We had to take her down.
I think Nox is a
decision making. Not you can argue release Nox was a guardian, but not this Nox.
I think I honestly don't think Nox, because unlike other guardians, unlike other mages, like what we talked about, I don't think her range, because she has to commit to her damage in a team fight, I don't think her range or her abilities lend itself to a mage class. She has a silence in her kit. She has a root in her kit. She has a slow in her kit. She has a dash that does damage when you go onto someone else.
Or even if you don't.
I still don't see.
Well, I mean, there's damage when you do it initially, and then there's damage when you exit.
But she doesn't do any
She's not going to save 3 different.
She really needs fucking damage to be relevant.
Exactly.
Like, we saw that today when we were playing.
Can't play her as a front line.
She's
one of those in betweeners.
I'll definitely will give in, but I think there's potential for her to be played outside of that role, because I feel like even in that role, I don't see her very often. I feel like she's off-road quite oftenly.
That's only because there's just a handful of mages that are better than her.
Alright, so Odin's going here.
Odin can go wherever he wants.
You're not telling me, Odin.
You can put him in if you
Caster, you can put him in Hunter, Mage,
Odin isn't bursting that backline in a team fight.
He's doing whatever he wants. I'm not telling you he's not doing nothing, because he's gonna knock me out next.
Maybe now with his 3 being how it is and him having some clear and being able to fight a little more in lane, you could definitely be like a bruiser. But I feel like he just bursts down. Like, he has so much burst in his kit.
Yeah, there's a lot of incentive to build him full damage now, I would say. So put him in assassin. Put that ugly ass guy where he needs to be. Some people don't even have to be discussed. Just drop them off.
I don't think we can contest most of these next.
I don't know.
I mean, his
Raw's
health.
an in betweener as well. Like you could definitely build him full heal and be very effective. Not saying that's the move,
I don't
but
think anybody really cares much for healing
Ra's
right
only
now.
really a healer in assault.
Yeah.
If I'm being 100% honest. To be fair, like Hi-Rez has only been willing to make 2 healers.
realistically,
3,
Okay.
4 actually.
Okay.
I knew he was
7.
about to do that shit. Like,
Savons
with
is the
weak as
guardian.
shit. His passive roots, put him as guardian.
I think King Arthur, Yorm, and Camazotz are top 3 in solo.
We ain't talking about that.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It just came to me because I know we were talking about it earlier. But I think those that was the top 3 as far as solo gods go. Scylla's definitely a mage. Serket an assassin.
This
Oh,
bitch.
this one's pretty.
Just goes
This
here.
one's pretty good. Okay.
Yeah, you could definitely do that. Nah, her abilities do too
Yeah.
much. Do
We're
way
gonna
too
put
fucking
Becky
much.
there. We're gonna put her right here. We're gonna put. Where are we putting Wukong?
In the
He
trash.
only really has he's a bruiser, but he's shit. Like
In the trash. Like what?
So we're putting them. I guess we can put him in Bruiser if you're gonna do that, and put Arachne there.
Yeah, he's shit. Like Wukong's so bad right now.
I'm putting Terra here.
You hype this shit.
Maybe before she got nerfed, when the heal was really good.
Her heal's
I mean,
still
the heal
really
is
good.
still really good.
Yeah,
Watch
it's just
Weekend's latest game and see how much he was healing. They healed through an entire Izanami ult
and I feel like
under
you
Phoenix. It
build
did no
healing
damage to
items
her.
on her as is. If you build Lotus Crown on a god, that's a healer. Let's be real. That's why I kind of want to put Sylvanas here as well. I feel like there's certain if you build Rod of Ass Claps, you're a healer.
I think, yeah. I mean, the healing class is so weak, like I said in Smite. So if they can heal and they're a guardian, they're supporty, I guess you can put them as healer.
I want to put him here.
I agree.
Why? But why?
His passive lends itself towards fighting. You build him off tank. He does do burst damage, but he also benefits from fighting a lot.
He can stay in the fight after he dumps his kit.
Yeah.
Red herring, red herring.
I mean, obviously you can flex pick between assassins. I mean, these lines are pretty blurred as far as god classes go, but I feel like if anything, he'll fit more in with this crowd. There's more in common, I feel like, between Thor and Hercules than I would say with Thor and
It's funny, Thor and Odin switch classes.
So hey, son.
Actually, I don't know because
Enjoy your time over there.
Well, actually, because Marcus was telling me about the whole was making the comparison between Thor and Ratatosker. But I feel like honestly, it's really the difference of the passive that
Rat has way more damage though.
Yeah. If Rat dumps his kit and he's just standing there, he's probably gonna die if he didn't kill the person he's trying to kill.
Yeah, but people used to play Rat solo and build him off tank. So
isn't that when he had a different acorn?
No,
acorn of Yggdrasil.
Right, he was playing new Rat and old Rat solo.
Alright.
Put his ass as a mage. What are you talking about? Let me stop.
I don't think I ever see him. I don't think anyone even. Yeah. You know what? If we're being completely honest, I think of the amount of times I've seen people play Uller on stream and they don't max his 2 is indicative of how much he
Shit, I don't
does
even
not.
level it.
Yeah, like well, that's what I mean. Like they don't even put any points into it is indicative of how he's just people play him for his abilities only in his burst.
Shit, people been playing Uller mid. Like,
Yeah, I mean, but that's been happening like forever. Like, definitely fits snugly in the mid.
Mulan Quisha only got one role. He's a hunter.
She blown Waisha. I wish he was better than he is now. It's garbage. You man. Nah, I agree with that. I'm
Actually,
not.
I think he's a bruiser.
actually, no. I'll put him right here.
Yeah, you could leave
I
him.
think he's a
Fast.
bruiser.
You think so?
Does so much. Even when you build him as tank, bro, you can literally
I
execute
feel yeah. I
anything
feel like
Yeah.
with his
immediately.
passive, it just feels like you want.
He's going to hit you so
Yeah,
hard.
like you want.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't know. Like I don't see a lot. I feel like Ymir, as compared to the other bruisers in the front line, you just you have to hit your ability. You have to be able to burst somebody to be relevant with Ymir. Otherwise, you're just a walking ice cube. You're not doing what these guys are doing. And
Like, oh, Iceman.
like I honestly don't even think Ymir benefits from fighting as much as these other bruisers do. He's here. I'm putting Zonqui as a caster.
Okay.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. He doesn't have anything in common with any of those gods in that class.
I think he's just thinking about the passive or the book
Yeah,
extra auto attack, but you don't build him like you would build any of the other like casters. Not you wouldn't even build him
you
like you
don't
would
build
build a
him like
Chrono.
you build any of the mages. And you want to scale late game. He builds items that stack so that he can scale into late game. He has after his you're supposed to be hitting your auto attacks mostly because of his 3 passive and his ult, which is a like AoE, and doesn't it focus whoever you're auto attacking? Like
Nah, it just hits everyone.
Yeah,
I
it's
thought it was
like
like I thought it was like
and
does more damage like based on your passive, and then when you release them in your ult, it targets whoever you're. Let me look up.
Nah.
I haven't
it's a
really ever
AoE.
had to
Just walk
like
around.
really look at these gods kits. Definitely.
It just hits whoever's there.
Yeah, just there's an AoE around him, and that's why you see people building like a fucking Aegis and just kind of walking
But I
around.
think he's a bruiser, just from the simple fact
All the
he has to
sustains
be
kit.
in the fight.
But the thing is, unlike these other bruisers, he wants to scale. I'm not seeing Zhang Kuei fighting a lot in solo. He wants to get items
That's
and
because
scale in what would be considered the safest lane because he's a pretty immobile god that doesn't have a lot of burst and benefit compared to other mages.
it's just so hard to place these weak gods because you see him like you're like, oh, he's supposed to go here, but he gets fucking slapped if he does.
Yeah, like I mean, you see that with Hell, Aphrodite, fucking who else? Who else is pretty weak in their lane? Like, I feel like if you're weak in your lane, you're just relegated to solo
Yeah,
or
pretty
weak in
much.
your role, I would say.
I don't want to be the one to place this guy.
I feel like you could even look at him towards the Guardian. You wouldn't really play him in a support role, but what he can do for his team is strong enough. Just considering his ult itself. But and he can go wherever. Like it's the last god. I really don't care about
I
him.
mean, I think this is
As
a
much as I
pretty.
like the god,
I think this is a
it's
pretty
strong.
solid list. All things considered, I think. I mean, honestly, there's probably some people would probably nitpick this and that, but as far as everything's concerned, I think like if they expand, it should look something to this effect. Uh, all right. So what time is it now? I think we might just call it.
11.
Yeah, I think we might
Yeah.
just call it right now. Um,
Hey,
yeah,
Good
it's been
talk.
it's been about 2 hours actually. Wow, this is longer than our first one. Um, all right, everyone. Thank you for anyone who stopped by and watched. We're gonna try to be doing these more consistently. Keep a lookout on our channel. I'm gonna try to have this one uploaded a little sooner, and I'm gonna post it on the subreddit. Hopefully, it doesn't get down voted to hell. And thank you for stopping by. You can catch me at _underscore at Twitter or on Twitter. You can
on
catch
Twitter. On Twitter.
you can catch Crafty here, McCalled at McCalled underscored. And you can catch Castlefu at under what is it? Is it Castlefu or is it still Stay
It's
Ready?
Yeah,
still
Havoc.
PXD Havoc.
Yeah, you can catch him
Havoc.
at PXD. There's no underscore in it, is it? It's just PXD Havoc.
Nah, it's just PXD
Yeah,
Havoc.
you can catch him at PXD Havoc. Uh, and hey, shout out to Taj being in the chat.
Hey.
Alrighty, well, thank you guys for coming by, and you have a wonderful evening.